Hey artsy friends, welcome back to my second composition notebook art journal series. I am nearing the end of my composition notebook, and so if I were to work on the page that I'm on, it would be like super thick and fat on one side and skinny on the other. So the nice thing about composition notebooks is that the binding is so strong that you can just do what I did and flip it around so that you can pretty much work on a flat surface no matter what page you're on. So that's kind of cool. So I actually have a little bit of a plan today. I'm not exactly doing intuitive art. I know where I'm going. So I want to start with a solid white background, and I have found that when you're working in these composition notebooks that the pages usually show through. And so if you want to work with a solid white, then I found the easiest way is just to put down the copy paper. And this is really thick copy paper. I think it's like 100-pound, 32-pound, 100 bright. So I know it's going to give me a nice solid white background. And instead of pre-measuring and trying to glue it onto my page, I just, as you could see, glued it first, and I'm just trimming the edges, which just makes it a lot easier. And I'm really trying to sink it down close into that gutter. And on this page, for some reason, it was tricky. Like I thought, oh yeah, certainly this works. But then nope, it wasn't in the corner enough. So I had to do it a couple of times to make it sink really down into that the crack. Okay, like I said, I'm doing an inspiration piece, which by that I mean I was inspired by something that I saw. And you guys know who Marie Kondo is? She's like the organizing guru of keep the, what is it, the life-giving joy of tidying up or something like that. She's kind of a minimalist. Anyway, she will kind of pioneer the idea of picking something up and does it spark joy? Well, I've taken that concept and applied it to a lot of things in life, where just to kind of trust your first impression, your first gut instinct when it comes to what you like and don't like, because we can get in our heads and overanalyze everything. But if you see, I mean, whether it's clothing or a house decoration or a piece of artwork or anything that we are evaluating based on appearances, if your first impression is like, ooh, I like that, then to me, I like to just trust that and go for it. So anyway, I saw a piece that a lady named Robin Mead posted in our Facebook group. And I got that little spark of, ooh, that looks fun. I enjoy that. I like the colors. I trust that first impression. And then I can kind of go back and ask, okay, why? What is it about it that appeals to my eyeballs or to my brain? And then how can I incorporate something similar? Okay, I'm going to take you to the Facebook post real quick. This is Robin Mead. This is my Facebook group. So this is the piece right here that I saw, and I was like, oh, I love that. It's very abstract. It's very colorful and bright. And as you can see, the hand there, I've already started to do kind of a copycat in the first few things that I've done. I started with a flower at the bottom and a swirl and here and there. And then, I incorporated these kind of big, almost leaf looking things. But from there, I just kept going on my own intuition. And so the way that I look at that is like, you take an inspiration and you can either do like a full copycat page where you're trying to basically replicate it. And of course, always give that person credit if you're going to put it on any kind of social media. But I like to think of it as like training wheels. Sometimes when we are inspired by a piece, we can kind of start by replicating some specific elements. And then once we get the momentum and the feel of the page, then we can just kind of keep going and let ourselves go. So I think some of the things that I liked as I look back again at her page is there are some pockets that are solid colors, while there's others that have little details. And since I tend to over detail everything, this appeals to me because while it's kind of wild and crazy and whimsical, it's also, it's very abstract and it's not overly detailed. So I'm going to make an intentional effort not to over detail this page. We'll see how I do. Okay, so I know she used a combination. She said she used watercolors by Beth Wright, gouache, silver, and gold head, which I'm not exactly sure what that means. A silver or gold head marker. Anyway, those are some of the things that she used. I thought this would be a good piece to use my alcohol markers on, which I splurged on at one time and bought a whole set of 120 because I thought for sure I was going to love them and use them all the time. And I really don't use them all the time. I always go to my acrylic markers, my Posca markers. They cover so well. So anyway, I thought, well, this will be a good way for me to use my alcohol markers. Ta-da! Look at, isn't that a ridiculous amount of markers? And then I had a small amount before. Here's the brands. The huhuhero, I've slowly thrown out the ones that are like dried and dead. So I'm going to start with those. And I'm gonna kind of just randomly fill in different pockets of space, which I've done some similar pieces to this. And one thing I found is there's an ant crawling on my page. I do not know where this ant came from. It is November, and it's kind of funny. I'm trying to leave him there, and so you can watch him like run around the page. Oh, he's going off the page. Ah! But it's November and I am in an upstairs room. I have no idea how this ant got here. It's a lone ant. And he disappears at some point in this video, and I don't know what happened to him. I'm afraid his demise might be preserved in between the pages of my art journal somewhere. Not quite sure. It's hard to even watch me work while I'm just watching the ant go around the page. Oh, he's going off. Nope. Nope. It's going back. Nope. Still there. I don't know. Maybe I squish him at one point. He's like going under my hand right there. Oh, did I kill him? Did I get him? No, he's still going. Ah! Okay, so I'm just using different colors, and some of them are kind of dried out, and you need to go over them 2 or 3 times. Oh, he went off the page completely. He's off the screen. Okay, I think he lived. He's probably in his little happy ant home here somewhere in my house, which, you know, he's not paying rent. He doesn't really deserve to live here, but I don't know. We'll never know what happened to Mr. Ant. Or maybe it's Miss Ant. I don't know. How do you know if they're girls or boys? Okay, so I am just filling in colors wherever. I'm not really paying too much attention to which colors I'm using. Yeah. And the reason I started with pencil and I'm filling in the color first before I outline it is that I know that way if I color out of the lines when I go outline it with my big, thick, black Posca marker, you won't be able to tell. I actually remember, I think I shared this once. I actually remember like in kindergarten or first grade when we did color, cut, and paste, right? You had to color something and then you cut it out and then you paste it on a different piece of paper or something. I remember this girl who seemed really smart to me was like coloring outside of the lines. And I thought, oh, that's not how we're supposed to color. We're supposed to color in the lines. And she looked at me and she goes, well, we're just going to cut it out anyway. Oh, I thought she was a genius. So yeah, so that's kind of the principle that I'm applying, is that I will do my best to color in the lines of my pencil markings, but if I go out a little bit, I can cover that up when I outline it. Okay, I've filled in just about all my space, but I am intentionally leaving some white space at the top, and I'm going to begin coloring in my lines. Not really coloring in. I'm going to begin outlining with my big, thick 5M Posca marker, and then I'm going to switch back and forth to my 3M Posca marker when I have a little bit smaller detail that I don't want to, don't want to disappear in the thickness of my line. Also, if you're wondering where that black cord came from and what the heck it is, it's to my headphones. I try not to use Bluetooth because, I don't know, I'm one of those paranoid people who thinks it like cooks your brain. So I have wire headphones, and my very responsible adult daughter, who has to get up for a real job early in the morning, asked me to put on my headphones so she didn't have to listen to my music while I was doing my art. So I'm being very conscientious, courteous, considerate. That's the word I'm looking for. So I absolutely love the way outlining the lines make this page like come to life. It makes it pop. So a lot of times when we look at a page, we look at the final product and we're like, oh, I can do that, or I don't have talent, or whatever. And then when you break it down step by step, none of this is difficult. You can do this. You really can. Can you draw a circle? Can you draw an oval? Can you draw a line? Then you can do this. Let me assure you. And if you can't, so what? Who cares? Do your own version of you. I just want to quickly acknowledge Artie the Ant. I just added all of those little clips at my final edit because I didn't realize he was there the whole time. Rest in peace, Artie the Ant. Okay, this is where I'm going to start adding some detail to some of the pockets. And this is where I'm telling myself, Erin, don't overdo it. Remember, you're going to try something different this time. Okay, so those are some big circles that you're putting in that pocket. Okay, I got to pace myself. I can do this. So I did this little black circle because I was trying to cover up a smudge. Do you see that smudge that I have there? And I'm like, oh, well, if I put something on top of it, then it's like intentional. Nobody will ever know. Except you, because I just told you. And then I'm using the thin line to like feather. Like already I'm like, okay, be careful, Erin. I know you're going to go way overboard. And then you're going to be like, I was going to try to be more simple. And not that I don't want to go with whatever feels right, but I really, really, really did want to try not to go overboard. And I actually think that I succeeded. I think I had just the right balance of detail and then leaving some solid colors in there too, which is what my plan was. What about you? Tell me in the comments. Are you a minimalist visually or a maximalist, or do you like just to kind of find that happy middle ground? What would you consider yourself? Okay, so it was getting past my bedtime and I let it rest for a night and I was really thinking about it and I kind of wanted to add a quote. And something that I've been thinking about lately is just, being authentic, be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. But as I use this piece of tissue paper, first of all, I used a Sharpie and it bled through. This isn't parchment paper, which I usually use. This is actually a piece of tissue paper that I had. And I made some tiny little specks of but that's okay. Anyway, I decided, you know what? No, I don't want to write a quote, but I do want just a little something in my white space there. Cause I felt like it just, I don't know, maybe because my page is sitting on a white background, but it just felt like it just kind of disappeared. So I wanted to add just a little bit of a border to the top. But that was something that Robin did on hers that I liked, is that she left some negative space at the top. So, ta-da! Here is my final piece. And here is my inspiration piece. So you can kind of see the similarities and differences. I don't know. I just always think it's kind of interesting to compare and contrast. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope that you were inspired, as I was, by Robin's piece, and that you can go make some art of your own. And then I hope that you can come back and hang out with me again. Have a blessed day.